Well, I would very rarely use 4.7. Let's say, take a look. Let's say if I was an advisor today, and I'm looking at today's environment, and I'm looking at what to me are the two most important factors. Once I've gone through what I call the 8 elements, where I customize the plan to the client's needs, and that's in terms of time horizon, the type of account they're drawing from, whether they want to leave a legacy balance at the end, what kind of asset allocation, how often they want to, all these factors which are customizable. We set those up for the client, but then we have to look now at two very, very important things. What valuations is the stock market at? And the research, the records have shown, going all the way back to Michael Kitcey's original research, that the more expensive the stock market is, the lower your withdrawal rate's going to be. And conversely, the cheaper the stock market is, the higher your withdrawal rate's going to be. And it's just inverse relationship, because obviously cheap stocks promise higher returns in the future, and they're probably a higher withdrawal rate. The other one is inflation. The ideal for retirees to be in a low inflation retirement environment. But where are you? I classify retirement in three regimes: low, 0 to 2.5% inflation. And this is looking out for the first 5 to 10 years of retirement. Medium inflation, I would call between 2.5% and 5%. And anything higher than 5%, I would call high inflation. So you have to take a look at those two factors. And if we look at them today, we have probably moderate inflation. It falls between 2.5% and 5%, although I'm very concerned about the trend of inflation. That's, I always say that inflation is the greatest enemy of retirees, because it can whittle away our capital very quickly. And we're also in a period now of very high stock market valuations. Some say record high. So the problem I have is a person who researches historical data and doesn't use mathematical models. So I can't run thousands of computations. I can just say what's happened in history. Probably the closest thing resembling this is probably, right around the late 90s, when inflation was moderate, and stock market valuations were starting to get into these realms. That particular retiree retired, let's say in 2000, about a 5.25% to 5.5% withdrawal rate. I can't be sure because I won't have 30 years of data still for that retiree, but it looks like 5.25% to 5.5% would have worked for them. So that's probably what I'd be recommending today, with the proviso that keep an eye on inflation. That's a hot button. If that takes off, we may have to go back to a lower level.